Up, Man Up TV, thank you for having us. We're Rhema Soul. My name is K Nubbs.
I'm Juan Love.
I'm going to pee.
And again, we are Rhema Soul. Basically, we've been a group about 4 years performing as Rhema Soul. Prior to that, K Nuff and I were in a group called Us MCs, and we had the opportunity to travel the world as missionaries, doing music, and that's basically the way things started. We traveled the world for a few years, working with a company called Book of Hope International, doing school assemblies in colleges, high schools, all different kinds of stuff. And basically, our passion is to communicate, and that's one of the things that we're real convicted about is just communicating the way we live, our lifestyles, which ultimately is the Christian life that we live and the God that we serve. So we try to communicate that through our music and by the way we live our lives.
I'm sorry, what were we supposed to say after that?
I'm sorry, yeah. Just
together and
all right, so basically, as he mentioned before, we got to travel around the world doing ministry, and the basic difference is, it's real simple. Here in America, the way that radio play is generated is everything that people listen to is it's like a program. So a song doesn't necessarily have to be good for people to start liking it, because it gets played and played and played on the radio enough that it gets a progressive movement in a sense. Over there, overseas, they I guess are more in tune to music being what it is, so it's just more open. They look for real music, and I hate to say that because it makes me sound like I'm bashing America, but they have not a better, but maybe a different appreciation for music in its purest form. So whether you're doing Christian music or secular music, as far as getting your message across in that kind of a arena, it's a lot easier to do overseas. That's basically the biggest difference I saw when we got to travel. As far as how we got to that opportunity, like you said, we used to rap before in this group called Us MCs, and he ended up actually working for the company Book of Hope, and they were doing a mission trip to Honduras, and they needed a rap group, and he overheard a conversation and walked in to the meeting and said, hey, I'm actually in a rap group. They called us down, we rapped for them, and the rest is history. We spent 2 years traveling to over 15 countries, seeing all different cultures, and we got to reach people in a very relevant form, because a lot of times we weren't able to approach them with the gospel. We had to go with them, or go at them at what they where they were, what they were dealing with. In some countries it was drugs, in some countries it was anorexia, in some countries it was abortion. Whatever it was, we had to go in there with that kind of that kind of a solution, and then gear that towards God and Jesus Christ and Him saving us. And that was the ultimate message. But to get people to listen, we had to be first very relevant without mentioning Jesus, to be honest with you.
Say, like, as far as Christian hip hop goes, right now I think my favorite is Strictly. It's probably my favorite right now. I think he's very relevant in what he speaks about, but at the same time he stays very grounded in what he believes in, as far as Bible and stuff and his scriptures and stuff. And a lot of times there's so much argument between the far right and the far left Christian hip hop. I just listen to it all, man. Like, I've really been enjoying where Christian hip hop is going right now, and I'm excited as far as our group goes that we're able to come in where we're coming in right now, because I think Christian hip hop is totally going to a new level, and it feels good that we're starting to be a part of that movement, that we're actually being able to kind of put in our little 2 cents and make the little steezy a little bit more. You know what I mean? But I think that's what I listen to right now.
I actually have a follow-up question with that. In terms of like where Christian hip hop is going, I guess as a fan of Christian hip hop myself and following it since I say I was about like 15 years old, really 14, 15 years old. Back then you had like Grits and and they they're still doing their thing now, but like that's basically all you had. And in terms of like where it is now, where like everybody who's in cross movement, Flame, Lecrae, Tripoli, and even other people that's getting like play. in the Christian arena, like what's the big difference as opposed to like what it was back then and what it is now? Is it like production? Is the production better?
I think they're finally stepping their game up. I think just in everything, I think people are getting a lot more serious now with the quality of stuff. I think they're paying attention to what's being out there in the secular market. I think back in the day it was just more like, oh, we're Christians, and we're just gonna, as long as we say Jesus, then it's dope. It's not. I mean, you gotta make sure what you do is top notch and the quality is top notch. That, you know, we're trying to reach youth, so you want to make sure that what you're giving them is going to be up to par them, you know, what secular radio is giving them. And unfortunately, you know, Christian hip hop doesn't have that big of an audience, so we got to make sure what we do is even better. So I would say that, you know, I'm a co-host on a radio show, so I think I've been able to kind of see the music come through, and it's been amazing to hear the quality change in the past year. It's just, I can't lie. Like, I just recently started listening to Christian hip hop about 2 years ago. I wasn't into it at all. I just couldn't get into it. It was hard for me to do it. And I think when Truth came out with his second album was really when I started getting into it. So I think production it's easier now for people to record. It's easier for people to get beats and stuff like that. So I would say that.
Production. I mean, that's kind of what I noticed too, because I mean, back then, like when I first got saved, it was like, you know, I'm Christian now. I probably need to be listening to more Christian stuff. And, you know, you listen to it and you're like, well, honestly, this isn't that hot, but it's like, this is the only option I got. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean.
I think, too, that you're starting to get a lot more diverse artists.
Yeah.
You don't just have the crossovers anymore. Because crossover for so long with the leader of the pack. But now you have so many ranges of Christian artists that it's like, you know, you might have people that might not necessarily want to just listen to, you know, preachy rap. You just want to have some feel-good music. So I think we have a huge diversity in Christian artists now than we did before. And I think that's very good.
I'ma run the show till this dope beat catch up. Hey, Mr. DJ, won't you play my rap? I'ma run the show till this dope beat catch up. If you wanna battle, then you gotta be fresher. I'ma run the show till this dope beat catch up. Hey, Mr. DJ, won't you play my rap? I'ma run the show till this dope beat catch up. If you wanna battle, then you gotta be fresher.
I rock it with the nice